Am I the asshole for refusing to leave a wedding because I wore a dress that looks white under a black light? A few months ago I attended a close friend's wedding with my husband. I wore a yellow dress. Think like Belle in Beauty of the Beast yellow. Bumblebee yellow. So yellow that I did not question if it was appropriate or not to wear to a wedding, and neither did my friends nor family. I arrive at the wedding, we have the ceremony, the cocktail hour, the dinner and the reception. I get many compliments on the dress and the bride even comments on how much she loves it several times. Towards the end of the reception the venue dimmed the lights and turned on some black lights. These black lights made my dress appear more white than yellow. A member of the wedding party approached me while the black lights were on and stated that I needed to leave because my dress was white and inappropriate. I stated that the dress was yellow but the black lights were making it appear white. The member of the wedding party stated that if I didn't leave she would make me. I stated I'm here to celebrate my friend, repeated that the dress was yellow and said I will not be leaving early. Bride and groom hadn't left yet and I came from overseas. The conversation, while heated, did not have raised voices or foul language from either side. But I will say it was tense. The wedding party member walked off and I watched as they immediately went to talk to the groom, angrily pointing in my direction. The groom shrugged and continued to dance. The next morning I was approached by a different friend at breakfast, not in the wedding party, who stated that they heard what happened and that I should have left when asked because it made people uncomfortable, and that I made it about me partying, rather than respecting wedding etiquette. I have felt incredibly embarrassed about this since. So am I the asshole for not leaving the wedding when asked? Too long did not read. Wore yellow dress that looked white under black lights. Was asked to leave by a member of the wedding party. Didn't leave. Told I made others uncomfortable by a friend the next day. Edit. A link to a similar dress. This is not the dress I wore but similar-ish in style and color. Also, the most controversial thing seems to be the black light dance party at this wedding. It was the last hour or so and was just a way to have fun. It was not as weird or as tacky as people are making it out to be. Not the asshole who checks their attire under black lights to see if it passes. Ridiculousness. I understand if it appeared white under normal lights, but come on, this was an unusual situation at the end of the reception. You are fine and whomever approached you was completely and utterly out of line. Some people have nothing better to do than look for problems that don't exist. Not the asshole. Did the bride even care? Sounds like friends making pointless drama considering they went to the groom, not the bride. And if the bride cared, the groom would have known. You might give the bride a call and explore. If she was offended, apologize and explain. It's up to her to accept or not. I mean, it's not like your dress was white during the ceremony. Not the asshole. The dress was yellow. The bride even comments on how much she loves it several times. They immediately went to talk to the groom, angrily pointing in my direction. The groom shrugged and continued to dance. They are the only people whose opinions matter. A member of the wedding party approached me while the black lights were on and stated that I needed to leave. No, not that person's decision. Not the asshole. Yellow is not white, and unless they specifically told people not to wear anything that appears white under black light, then it's on them. INFO, cause I'm nosy, has the bride or groom said anything to you? In my opinion, if they are okay, then I don't get the friends causing issues. Not the asshole. The people who are worried about this need some actual problems in their lives. Pro tip. When they turn the lights down and put a black light on, the wedding etiquette portion of the evening is over and it's about partying. Let me get this right. You came from overseas, investing quite a lot of money to attend a wedding. The bride heartily approved your attire. Then someone decides to change the lighting and you are treated like that? And the bride, groom didn't put an immediate stop to their incredibly rude wedding party attire police? Unacceptable on the part of the bride and groom. You are owed a huge apology. Not the asshole. Am I the asshole for answering the door in a spicy costume? So, I'm 24, female, and my boyfriend has been gone for a few weeks visiting family on the other side of the world. Coincidentally, the death of one of my coworkers meant I had to work a lot more during those weeks, and I was honestly pretty miserable and pent up the whole time. The one thing keeping me going was the thought of having a wild night when he got home. My boyfriend's sister texted me and asked if she could come over when he got home. I said we would both be really tired and eager to be alone, and said it'd be best to wait. Then I put my phone on silent, which meant I didn't see her next text that said she knew her brother, he'll find energy to say hi. When he got home, the moment he was sufficiently unpacked, I changed into a Playboy bunny suit. Then his sister knocked on the door and yelled hello. I was pretty pissed off, so I didn't put in any effort to hide my angry expression and answered the door in the outfit. I was pretty cold with her, and she got passive-aggressive before reluctantly leaving. She said it was petty and dramatic over the phone, and I just hung up, prompting some angry texts. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. Rolling on the floor laughing, 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 rolling on the floor laughing. You don't go over anyone's house when you clearly were not invited. Even vampires abide by this rule. If she continues to bitch about you coming to the door in your spicy costume, just tell her if she had only barged over just few minutes later, then you would have been happy to answer the door without the costume. She clearly does not know her brother that well. Rolling on the floor laughing, 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 rolling on the floor laughing. Not the asshole. Eager to be alone, should have been sufficiently direct. She knew you said no as politely as possible and decided to come anyway. Hopefully your boyfriend is on your side here. Not the asshole. It's your house and you can wear anything, or not, that you want. You can answer phones and door and emails in whatever you want. She wasn't invited. She was clearly told no. If she is embarrassed, she's only herself to blame. Not the asshole. So did you come here to watch us fuck, or? Not the asshole. She tried to override your no. In your home, you were surprised and upset that you ended up in an awkward position. You returned that awkward to the sender who couldn't be bothered to respect your no, and by extension, your relationship with your boyfriend. If she thinks that was dramatic and unnecessary, maybe she should accept that no means no next time. Who just comes over unannounced? Also, the sister is pretty dense to not understand you and your boyfriend might want some alone time after being apart. Am I the asshole for not doing everything to help my parents afford treatments for my brother? When my brother, 18 male, was 4 and I, 16 male, was 2, he was diagnosed with a blood cancer. He'd been sick for a little while and our parents thought he had a flu or something, so they didn't get him all the help right away, and because of that guilt they devoted every second to him from that point forward. It was supposed to be until he was cancer-free. But by the time he was, we were 8 and 6 and they had become so used to focusing on him alone. I spent most of my time with an uncle who lived nearby, our neighbors, when he was undergoing treatment. My uncle didn't like having me nearby and the neighbors were so busy with their own kids that I got pretty used to being ignored and forgotten. So when my brother was back home and I wasn't sent anywhere anymore, I was more used to being alone somewhere and taking care of myself. My relationship with my parents was never a close one, and it's the same with my brother. Both of us feel more like only kids, and he gave me shit before for telling our parents I'd like some of their attention too. They'd always tell me he needed it more and he considered me a drama queen. The last time I said anything, which was like 3 years ago, he said he didn't realize boys could be as dramatic as girls. My brother's cancer come back 5 years ago and it was dealt with early and he didn't have treatment for very long, and after that he seemed better in all ways. He had more energy, appetite was better, and he was doing stuff he'd never had the energy to do before. About a year ago my mom's parents moved closer to us and they spent time focused on me, which bonded me to them pretty quickly. I spend a lot of time with them now. I also took my focus totally off my parents and wanting their attention. In July my brother's cancer returned again, but it's different this time. I wasn't given much info. Treatments are complicated, I guess, and some other countries have treatments we're not focused on yet, so there's talk of him going to Germany and I think Switzerland. But I could be wrong since I don't get much info. My parents are working more hours to help pay for this. And since then I spend even more time with my grandparents. Sometimes spending the night with them. My lack of presence wasn't noticed until they wanted me to help raise the money and maybe offered to get tested if that's what's needed. They said I could start fundraisers and get a job. I already have one, but my parents never noticed. I told them I wasn't going to help with that and it was for the 3 of them to figure it out. I got yelled at and my grandparents stepped in and said I wasn't responsible for this. My parents were saying it was helping family, my own brother, and how could I consider not doing everything to help? Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. First off, you deserve the same love and attention from your parents. Who are morons not only for ignoring you but expecting you to help pay for treatments. You are a child, not the parent. So it's not on you to do anything of that bullshit. Second, I don't care what condition your brother has. That doesn't give him the right to treat you badly or act like a spoiled brat. He should have been called on that a long time ago and put in his place. And third, the "he's your brother, your family" card is a load of crap. You don't owe him or anyone else a thing. Both he and your parents are assholes and need to get over themselves. Just like they need to realize what shitty people they're for doing all of this to you. And parents wonder why glass children abandon them when the golden child is no longer available. My sister was very sick growing up. It was always your sister comes first until she's healthy. But when she was healthy, they did their damnedest to make it up to me. Even when she was sick, they rarely to never missed my events. If my sister acted like a shit, as all kids sometimes do, she got lectured. Just because you're sick doesn't mean you can act like an asshole. I think most humane siblings understand when their brother is sick. It's okay to take a backseat occasionally. Be understanding occasionally. It's never okay to be second for so long they didn't notice you were missing. Not the asshole. Let me start off with, if you are unwilling to be tested, they won't do it. Even if pressured into it, once you talk to doctor about how you are being coherent, they will keep that confidential and simply state you're not a donation match. End of story. However, your parents suck to ignore you so thoroughly, and your brother is a self-entitled prick. Congratulations on having awesome grandparents who honestly love and care for you as an individual, as well as a grandson. Not the asshole. You're a kid. Your responsibility is to be the kid, theirs is to be the parent. I am sorry, you ended up as the glass child. You are not responsible for your brother, your parents are. Your parents are negligent in ignoring you and your needs. Please don't let your parents guilt trip you. I have a family member with terminal cancer, and you are unfortunately on borrowed time. Your parents are grasping at any silver of hope and not thinking rationally. Please take care of yourself. Not the asshole. Your parents didn't notice you basically weren't living at home. They didn't notice you have a job. They don't care about you as a person, but only for what you can give your brother. Try to live with your grandparents as much as possible. Keep your head down. Possibly give your grandparents your important papers, birth certificate, social security card, and get out of there once you turn 18. In no sane world is an underaged sibling responsible for raising money for their other sibling's cancer treatment. Your grandparents are right that this isn't your responsibility. I'm sorry your parents have neglected you basically your whole life, but I'm glad you have your grandparents. Not the asshole, obviously. Am I the asshole for telling my sister I am done being her caregiver? I, 16M, have a twin sister, 16F, let's refer her to as Laura. Laura and me have splitting personalities, but for the most part we used to get along until high school. Since Laura was an outgoing person, she barely studied if at all. She was obsessed with TikTok and stuff. Now I am not as outgoing as her. I mean, I still go out with friends, but only during the holidays, and we do activities like basketball, but yeah, you get the gist. Due to her dismal academic performance, compared to mine, I am always made to tutor her by my mom. My dad knows about this, but he's busy with work all the time and traveling for different meetings, so he isn't really involved in this situation. My mom is a stay-at-home mom. Now I don't mind teaching her, except that every time I try to teach her, she always manages to throw a fit or a tantrum, and I get blamed if she does badly in a test. So I gave up. Next, she managed to fracture herself at a friend's house. Apparently she slipped and missed the landing. Don't remember too much. Happened 3-4 weeks ago. And ended up in a cast. It should take approximately 2 months for her to recover, according to the doctor, and for the cast to be removed. They taught her how to use crutches at the hospital, but admittedly she wasn't the best with it. Our house is 2 stories tall, and there is a staircase to go up to our bedrooms. She wants me to carry her all the time. Now this isn't an issue for me. I am 5 feet 11, she's 5 feet 7, and am much heavier than her, except I am not free all the time, nor does she want to take the effort to use her crutches. For the past 1-2 weeks I relented and had to do as she told, or else she threatened to complain to our mom, who's busy in her own social life, and gets fed up when we complain to her, except she takes out all the blame on me. The last straw is when she called for me to take her down the stairs to drink water while I was on a call with a friend, finishing a group project that was due the next day. I had enough, and after the call, I went to her room and told her I am not her damn caregiver all the time and she needs to do stuff herself. Guess what she did? Called for mom, and I got into trouble again. Am I the asshole? Mini update. I spoke on the phone with my dad, and he did say that once he would be back from his NYC business trip he would try and settle things. He agreed that my sister was acting really immaturely, but he did ask me to continue to help my sister in the meantime since she needs it. However, I take his words with a pinch of salt, as every time he returned back, he's scheduled to go elsewhere for work trips or meet someone important in 5-6 days, although it's not always the case. Not the asshole. At the end of the day, while it may be generous to do these things for your sister, I don't think you have any obligation to. And, as you said, she could use crutches. Your assistance is a luxury, not a necessity. Not the asshole. Tell your parents to take responsibility for their child. Call your dad. It's not a question of bothering him, he is a parent. Let him be annoyed, but he has to be involved in your upbringing as well. And do prepare to leave home as soon you hit 18. You owe nobody anything. Not the asshole. It is absolutely not your responsibility to do your work and hers. The fact that you are getting punished for it is insane. Not the asshole. Your sister is manipulative as heck. She wants the prize, but isn't willing to work for it. She expects you to hand it to her. You are not her keeper and you are not her parent. Stay-at-home mom can help her with her needs. She doesn't do well in school, most likely, because she is too busy socializing and not studying. Your mom pushing you to tutor her is enabling her to continue letting someone else do the work for her. And carry her around? Oh, I think not. Or, at least that is how I would feel if my sibling was pulling this on me. Seems like your mom is the asshole there.